Hey Cajun, how was your weekend? You look refreshed.
Hey, Monica. It was actually pretty good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I definitely feel better than last Friday. It's funny, that simple question, how was your weekend, is one of the most common things we hear, especially on a Monday. And yet so many English learners find it a bit tricky to answer well.
Absolutely. It's such a staple of casual conversation, isn't it? And you're right, it seems straightforward, but there's an art to giving a good, engaging answer that isn't just good or fine. We're not aiming for a one-word answer here, are we?
Exactly. It's an opportunity to connect, share a little bit about yourself, and keep the conversation flowing. So for our listeners today, we really want to dive into how to not just answer that question, but how to master talking about your weekend in English. Let's break it down.
Let's do it. So first things first, the greeting and the initial reaction. How was your weekend? You can start with something simple like, it was great, it was pretty good, thanks. Or if it wasn't so great, it was okay, a bit busy actually. It sets the tone.
Yeah, and that thanks for asking part is really important for politeness, isn't it? It shows you appreciate the question. And then you immediately want to pivot to asking them back. How about yours or what about you? It keeps the conversation balanced.
Definitely, it's not a monologue. Okay, so once you've done that, you need to actually describe it. This is where people sometimes struggle with vocabulary or tenses. What are some go-to phrases or structures you'd recommend?
Right, the past simple tense is your best friend here. I went, I saw, I did, I had. Or for example, I went hiking in the mountains. I saw that new movie. I did some gardening. I had dinner with friends. Keep it concise at first, maybe one or two main activities.
That's a solid foundation, and you can add a little more detail, right? Instead of just, I went hiking, you could say, I went hiking up in the national park, and the views were incredible. Or I had a really lovely dinner with some friends at that new Italian place downtown.
Exactly. Adding an adjective or a short descriptive phrase makes it so much more interesting. Instead of just, it was good, try, it was really relaxing, or it was super busy but productive, or it was an absolute blast. Those little modifiers make a huge difference.
Let's think about different types of weekends. Not every weekend is an adventure, right? Sometimes you just chill. So what if you didn't do much?
Ah, the lazy weekend scenario. Perfectly normal, and you can absolutely talk about it. You could say, I mostly just relaxed at home, or I had a pretty chill weekend, or I caught up on some sleep and watched a few movies. You can even add why. I really needed to recharge. It's honest and relatable.
I love that. Caught up on sleep is a classic. Or I binged a new series on Netflix. No shame in that game. What if you had a productive weekend, like chores or errands?
Oh, the adulting weekend, very common. You could say, I spent most of it doing chores, but I got a lot done. Or I finally tackled that mountain of laundry. Or I ran a bunch of errands, so it was productive at least. You can add a little humor to it too, like, my weekend was mostly dedicated to fighting dust bunnies and grocery shopping, but hey, someone's got to do it.
That's a great point about humor. It makes you sound more natural and approachable. And what about when you didn't have a good weekend? Maybe you were sick or something went wrong. How do you share that without being a total downer?
Good question. You don't have to overshare, but you can be honest without being overly negative. It wasn't the best, actually. I came down with a bit of a cold, so I just rested up. Or it was a bit stressful, had some unexpected car trouble. And then you can quickly pivot to the present. But I'm feeling better now, or hopefully this week will be smoother.
That's smart. Acknowledge it, but don't dwell. And always bring it back to a positive or neutral outlook. It's about finding that balance. Now let's talk about expanding the conversation. Once you've shared your bit, how do you keep the ball rolling?
This is crucial. You want to ask follow-up questions. If someone says, I went hiking, you can ask, oh really? Where did you go? Or was the weather good? If they say, I watched a new movie, you can ask, oh, what did you watch? Or was it any good? Show genuine interest.
And even if you didn't do the same thing, you can relate to it. Like, oh, I love hiking, I haven't been in ages. Or I've been meaning to see that movie, what did you think of it? That creates a bridge for more discussion.
Exactly. You're looking for common ground or a natural next step in the conversation. Avoid yes-no questions if you can, or if you do ask one, follow it up with a why or a how.
Okay, so let's role play a little. I'll ask you about your weekend, and you give me a good, natural answer, then ask me back. Ready?
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
All right. So Cajun, how was your weekend? Any exciting adventures?
It It was actually fantastic. Thanks for asking. I finally finished painting the guest bedroom, which felt like a huge accomplishment. And then, to reward myself, I met up with some friends on Saturday night for a live jazz show. It was incredible. Really lively atmosphere. How about yours, Monica? Anything good happen?
Oh wow, that sounds like a really productive and fun weekend. Finishing a painting project is no small feat. And jazz? I love jazz. Which club did you go to? Was it a new band?
It was at the Blue Note, which is a classic, you know. And yeah, it was a new ensemble, really talented. They played a lot of modern interpretations. Definitely worth checking out. But tell me about your weekend. You didn't answer yet. What did you get up to?
My weekend was a bit more on the relaxed side, honestly. I spent Saturday morning just pottering around the garden, doing a bit of weeding, you know. Then in the afternoon, my sister and her kids came over, so we had a big BBQ. Sunday was super chill. I finally got around to reading that new novel I bought last month. It was just what I needed, a nice balance of family time and quiet time.
That sounds lovely. A proper wholesome weekend. I'm a big fan of a good BBQ. What did you grill? And what's the book you're reading? Always looking for recommendations.
Oh, we went with the usuals: burgers, sausages, lots of corn on the cob. The kids love it. And the book is called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. It's really thought-provoking about second chances and alternate lives. I'm totally hooked. You should definitely check it out if you're into a bit of philosophical fiction.
Sounds right up my alley. I'll add that to my reading list. See, that's how you do it, listeners. We naturally transition from one weekend recap to follow-up questions, showing interest and even getting book recommendations.
Exactly. It's all about keeping the conversational ball in play. And don't be afraid to share an anecdote. If something funny or interesting happened, a brief story makes it even more memorable. Like if your dog chased a squirrel right into the neighbor's prize-winning roses during your garden potter.
Aha, precisely. Those little moments make the conversation real and engaging. Another useful tip is to vary your vocabulary. Instead of always saying, it was good, try, it was enjoyable, it was fantastic, it was relaxing, it was eventful, it was tiring, it was productive. A thesaurus can be your friend here.
Oh, absolutely. And think about using stronger verbs too. I explored instead of I went to if you visited a new place. I baked instead of I made if you were in the kitchen. I immersed myself instead of I watched if you were really into a movie or book.
Those are great suggestions, Monica. It really elevates your English. And don't forget expressions. Things like, I had a blast for a really fun time, or I crashed for when you were super tired and just slept.
I chilled out is another good one for just relaxing. Or I caught up on some errands if you were busy with practical things. These idiomatic expressions make you sound much more native.
They really do. And remember, it's okay to keep it brief if you're just making small talk. You don't have to give a full blow-by-blow account of every single minute of your weekend. A few key highlights are usually enough for a casual chat.
Right, read the room. If it's a quick chat by the coffee machine, a short summary is perfect. If you're having a longer conversation with a close friend, then you can go into more detail. Context is key.
And practice makes perfect. The more you talk about your weekend, the more comfortable and confident you'll become. So next Monday, don't just say fine. Challenge yourself to use some of these phrases and ideas.
Exactly. Start small. Pick one new phrase or one new adjective to describe your weekend. Try to ask a follow-up question. Even little steps add up to big improvements in fluency and confidence.
So to recap, start with a pleasant, concise answer. Use the past simple tense. Add some descriptive adjectives or phrases. Share a small detail or anecdote. And crucially, ask them back and follow up with questions.
And don't be afraid to be honest if it wasn't the best weekend, but try to pivot to a more positive outlook. Use varied vocabulary and expressions to sound more natural, and adjust your answer to the context of the conversation.
Perfect summary, Monica. Hopefully our listeners feel much more prepared to tackle that dreaded, how was your weekend question now? No more awkward silences.
Fingers crossed. Thanks for joining me today, Cajun. This was super helpful.
Always a pleasure, Monica. And to all our listeners, have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next time. Practice those weekend recaps.